And joining us to discuss this evening, we have Auwal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani, the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, and the Head of Transparency International Nigeria, joining us live from Abuja. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, viewers.
All right, so after a series of criticism, the federal government has announced its decision to review the planned 8,000 naira monthly palliative for the vulnerable in the country. What's your take on that?
Well, I think the action of government so far shows that there was no concrete and proper plan to mitigate the economic crisis and economic problems that we have been facing in this country, because there's no clear blueprint that we have seen from the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration in terms of reviving our economy, which will include also ensuring that we have done what is needed in terms of making our refineries to work, rather than this sharing and also feeling like if you are still in campaign period where you need to be sharing peanuts to Nigerians in order to get them to support you. We cannot continue that way. So what I expected the president to do is to have his economic management team ready, so that as soon as he comes in, the economic management team will come with various intervention programs and policies geared towards reviving our economy, ensuring that the issues of fuel supply in the country, electricity supply in this country are given top priority. But it appears to me they are still thinking on what to do, which is sad. And this is the problem when you refuse to subject yourself to political debate and discussion where Nigerians can ask questions, seek for clarification on your own programs and plan. But because the President Ahmed Tinubu refused to participate in the political debate to discuss the economic agenda of his own government, this is part of the repercussion and the challenges we are facing. So it was good that Nigerians have spoken against this evil of sharing 1,000 naira to the family of 5 people. In a month, you are supposed to get 8,000, which we know because of corruption, you cannot even get half of that amount, because the previous scheme, that's how they were doing. They will give you 5,000 and then they will collect 2,000 or 2,500, and yet claiming that they have done poverty alleviation or they have done poverty intervention. So because of that experience, we recommended to the government to prioritize the use of this money. If at all we must even borrow this money, remember we are borrowing this money to do this thing. And from all of our experience so far, we know that sharing this money is not a solution to addressing poverty, inequality, and making the economy to work. So that is why we recommended to government that if at all you must do this, share this money according to our local government. In each of the local government, set up committee that will comprise religious leaders, community leaders, political leaders, youths, MBA, PIDA, Labor Congress, and civil society organization. If you have all this combination of this organization in each of the local government, there's nobody that is likely going to steal or divert this money. So there will be proper mechanism to make sure that those who need this are properly identified and be given. But because there was no plan from the government, they did not even let Nigerians know what mechanism they are going to use to identify these people that will be given 8,000 naira per month for 6 months. 6 months is not a solution. What is important, in our own opinion, is to get the refineries to work, fix them. Buhari has spent 8 years promising that he was going to repair refineries, and each year we make huge amount of money for turnaround maintenance, and yet the refineries did not work. So what we expected Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do, since the subsidy payment fraud has been, stopped, they should have used those savings to make sure that our refinery works. That is one way in which we can mitigate the suffering. Secondly, get our energy, our electricity to be boosted. Most of the things that you do in this country, you require electricity, and many of our communities have no electricity. The third issue is that work toward revitalizing factories and industries so that there will be job creation in the country. The Tinubu administration is not thinking along that direction. Again, you could also ensure that you have improved in the ease of doing business. A lot of companies are leaving Nigeria because they cannot comply with the corruption demand by public officials. Many of the international airlines are no longer flying in Nigeria because of the demand for bribe,
All right.
which they don't do.
Thank you for
And
the
many other companies
extensive
are leaving. So if
response.
Tinubu administration put all this into perspective, we would have mitigated the crisis that we are facing now.
All right. Thank you very much for the extensive response. So speaking on the pump price hike, the NNPC has come out to say it is caused by market factors, determined by market factors. What do you think about that? And what exactly do you think can be done?
Well, part of the contradiction we have today is that when you say you are going to do the regularization, we have law on petroleum industry law that clearly takes NNPC from absolute control on determining the prices and all this. But yet the NNPC is still fixing these prices, which means that the petroleum industry law that we have struggled to make sure that we have more vibrant, more efficient, more effective petroleum sector and extractive generally in this country is still not being complied with. And that is why you see this interference that keep on coming. So the whole idea of removing NNPC from total control of the petroleum sector has not been achieved. Secondly, this whole idea of fixing or putting prices 1 month, 2 months after, Nigerians have not come out from the previous increase that has never happened in the country. The amount, if you look at the amount that the first increase happened, we've never experienced that kind of thing. And yet Nigerians are being patient, are trying to adjust their life. Life is still very difficult and hard for many people. Some people cannot even go to school. Their children cannot, go to school. Many people cannot visit one another because they cannot afford the transportation system. We have not wake up from that one. You now, within the space of 1-2 months, you have now increased it. I think this is very insensitive and this is not in tandem with reality. And if you say you are making saving, you shouldn't do that. What we expected Bola Ahmed Tinubu to do is that all those people who collected fraudulent payment on subsidy, they should have been brought to return that resources, that money, that will be injected into the economy and the economy will function very well. But you have given them like a soft landing. They have gone, nobody is being asked to come and bring back the money that he or she does not deserve to be given. I think it is important that we deal with the issues of corruption. If we don't deal with corruption in the economy, we will continue to suffer and we will continue to make Nigeria to lose hope and confidence in the ability of our leaders to be able to take the right policies and the right decisions to salvage them from the socio-economic crisis and particular poverty that has rampaged virtually everywhere in the country.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. And that was Auwal Ibrahim Musa Rafsanjani, the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, and Head of Transparency International Nigeria.